Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners back again with another episode. Tonight we're talking about the Hall of Fame and CC Sabathia. This is the Miller Park Minute. We do this show every day, more or less during the season or when there's baseball news. As I've said lately, there isn't much baseball news to be talking about. But tonight's episode is a special one. It is about CC Sabathia and the Hall of Fame. We're going to talk briefly on CC Sabathia. We're going to talk about CC Sabathia and him snubbing me. So we'll get into that in just a minute. In case you didn't know, you can subscribe to this podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and we record these episodes nightly. Typically live recording. So if you want to join in, you can. Otherwise, you can watch it on the replay on those platforms, Facebook and Twitter. Also feature the live sessions. Saturdays, we do 4 p.m. Central Time for lives when we do them. If you want to go over to SeatGeek, you can use the code Miller Park Minute and save $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. You can also support us over at Patreon, patreon.com/Miller Park Minute. All right, guys, let's get into this. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame. So tonight, it was made official. The Hall of Fame ballots were counted, and our good friend, part-time brewer, CC Sabathia, made it. So CC Sabathia was elected to the Hall of Fame, as well as Ichiro. Ichiro and CC are two icons of the game. And CC happens to be a former brewer, so it's huge. I think it goes without saying he was probably goes down on the list of top influential brewers just based off of the fact that he helped us break a 26-year playoff drought. And it seems like we've been back just about every year since. Or it feels not quite like that, but I mean, you know what I'm saying. There was a couple of years before the most recent era where we weren't, but it was a big move for Doug Melvin to bring CC in, and it really shaped that season, and it was revolutionary. I mean, I can go back to CC's debut and just remember the stands shaking, and I had never in my young Brewers time felt a feel like that shaking stands when we got CC Sabathia. So it goes without saying that that's probably one of the most influential trades that we have ever made to the Brewers. I'm not going to list all those in order. I don't think we need to. Guys, if you're here watching live, feel free to check in, leave a like, leave a comment. I love reading the comments. I love when you guys are a part of the stream. So with CC Sabathia being inducted into the Hall of Fame, I have a little story that goes along with this. So as you guys know, CC Sabathia went on a tour, a return tour to the Milwaukee, and he came back, and it was a night. They gave away the Sentinel poster cover. I've got it somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where, but it was all out good night. He hung around. Went on the broadcast, that kind of thing. Oh, I forgot to mention Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner also got selected to the Hall of Fame. But he made his rounds and he was doing his thing, signing autographs, taking pictures. I happen to be, and if you go to, I think it's on my X profile, I happen to be standing right down in front, right where I was in line to get CC Sabathia's autograph, who's signing everything. And yeah, it's my Twitter profile. You can see CC Sabathia, and I stole the picture from the Brewers social media team. I think it was on one of their stories or something like that. But you can see CC Sabathia standing right in front of me. It looks like he's signing for me. Well, the truth is, I never got his signature. He bypassed my ball and signed for, I'd say, an maybe 7 to 8 year old kid next to me. And at the time, I was so mad because you and I all well know that kid was not alive during CC's time. Doesn't even probably, might have an idea of the importance of CC Sabathia to the Brewers because his father probably told him. So I got snubbed. I got skipped. He looked up at me and went right to the next autograph and then walked away. So there's a picture of me standing in front of CC Sabathia that was on the Brewers Twitter. And I think I've told this story. I mean, I was very offended at the time. So, but it's right on my Twitter profile if you want to see it. Proof is in the pudding. I was pissed. Still am. Still bitter. Happy for CC, but I'm bitter that I didn't get his autograph in person that day. As a consolation prize, though, I did get Tyrone Taylor to sign my ticket because I was standing up front, and I'm like, well, guess we'll get Tyrone Taylor. Why not? Sounds like a great consolation to Brewers legend CC Sabathia, right? That's what I said. But CC Sabathia, he had a hell of a career. You can't think about that era of baseball. He was an Indian. Without talking about CC Sabathia. And he had a career, a regular season, 251 wins and 161 losses, 3.74 ERA, started 560 games, no saves, 3,500 innings pitched, 3,000 strikeouts, and a 1.26 whip. Those are legendary numbers, straight up and down. Now, I want to also talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Ichiro. I love the Hall of Fame because it's one of those times where you get to look at players across the game that you got to watch that had a huge impact. And I think Ichiro was always an impact player and one of the best of a generation that we got to watch. And it's cool to now be, in the generation that I, post my growing up days, because those memories aren't as vivid as the more recent players such as Ichiro, Billy Wagner, CC Sabathia. Ichiro is from, of course, Japan. Sorry. He is known for the hits. He's the hit king. 3,089 hits, 117 homers, 780 RBIs, 509 stolen bases, career 311 average, a 355 OBP, and a 757 OPS, right in that beautiful range. The guy played for Seattle for the majority of his career, had a short stint with New York, and then Miami, and then back to Seattle to finish it in 2019. Ichiro is still around baseball. He's still contributing on a large scale. And I think it just goes without saying that he's one of the greatest one of the greatest hitters we've ever seen. And I'm glad it was during our generation. It's unfortunate for Pete Rose. We'll just say that. And then, of course, Billy Wagner. We can't talk about the Hall of Fame without talking about all the members. Billy Wagner, Astro through and through. 47 and 40 career record, 2.31 ERA, 853 games, 422 saves, 903 innings pitched, 1,196 strikeouts, and a 1.0 whip. Spent most of his time with Houston, spent some time with Philly, the New York Mets, and Atlanta. So he was a little bit of traveler toward the end, but career-wise, that they don't make closers like that. Consistent through and through 95 to 2010. Are the modern closers and modern pitchers going to be this good when we talk about their Hall of Fame candidacy? I don't know. I really don't know. The other two classic era committee electees are Dave Parker and Dick Allen, both of which I don't know a lot about. So some of those older ones I typically don't know just exactly what their whole era was about or who they were. I'm not gonna say that I know all about everything. So we had some notables fall off this year. Ian Kinsler fell off on his first ballot. Russell Martin fell off on his first ballot. Brian McCann, first ballot, fall off. Troy Tulowitzki fell off. Curtis Granderson, former Brewer, fell off on the first ballot. Adam Jones fell off on the first ballot. Carlos Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, Fernando Rodney, Ben Zobrist, all fell out on the first ballot. If you look across the rest of the ballot, Beltran and Andrew Jones are the closest to getting in. You have to have 75% or above votes to get in. So those two are leading the top, minus, obviously Billy Wagner, CC, and Ichiro were the top vote getters. We also got Chase Utley in there, Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, Andy Pettit, Felix Hernandez, Bobby Abreu, Jimmy Rollins, Omar Vizquel, Dustin Pedroia, Mark Burley, Francisco Rodriguez hanging in there. He only got 10% vote, but he needs to be only above 5. So it's going to be a long shot. He's on his third ballot. David Wright and Torrey Hunter, all guys that could potentially get it. Next year's class is actually going to include our guy, Ryan Braun. I don't know, just with the guys that are sitting there, I don't know how close Ryan Braun will get, but it'll be interesting to see nonetheless when it all comes down. I think one of the big things here that we're looking at right now with everything going on Brewers is there is not much news. We are getting a lot of people talking and predicting. And again, here's another article. That says Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman has been the talk. I don't know that Bregman would take an option. Somebody said Brewers predicted to sign $119 million all-star on one condition. I don't know that that's a thing. So many of these articles, there's so many fan-related sites, and that's why I don't cover a lot of this stuff. But due to the lack of news, I just have to kind of go with what comes. You know what I mean? Crew Ball is putting out an early look at the Brewers batting order. I'd love to see it. So they got, I'm not going to read the details. I'm just going to read what they got and give you my thoughts. Versus right-handed pitching, they say start with Bryce Turang, Jackson Trio, Christian Yelich, William Contreras, Garrett Mitchell, Rhys Hoskins, Sal Frelick, Joey Ortiz, and Caleb Durbin. And they're slotting Caleb Durbin in at third, which totally makes sense to me at this juncture, unless we see something different. Versus left-handed, Jackson Churio, Blake Perkins, Christian Yelich, William Contreras, Rhys Hoskins, Sal Frelick, Joey Ortiz, Caleb Durbin, Bryce Turang. It's funny how they got Turang going from the top to the bottom. I like that. I don't see anything wrong with that. We don't know, where everybody's going to fall in. We don't know what Caleb Durbin's position is going to be. But that being said, that's really all we've got as far as any kind of rumblings or it's just talk at this point. We don't have any solid info that they're actually looking to do that. If you go across then here's another guy that says Yoan Moncada. So, I think Ha-Seong Kim was another one that was predicted for the Brewers to sign. But at that juncture, he is injured. So I don't know that would be anything of special speculation or anything that would be reportingly, I don't know. It's a wait and see, I guess. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. I think everybody across the board is covering Hall of Fame baseball tonight. Bregman and the Tigers are still at a standstill. I'm just seeing if it mentions any other teams' names along the way. It does not in this particular article. So I guess, again, it's a wait and see. We don't know. We are kind of just left to speculate to our own devices what is actually going on, what we're going to be able to do, and what is available. I know right now the news cycle is very, very it's fickle. There just isn't a lot coming across the board. Dodgers signed Kirby Yates. We are in a position that we're just kind of wait and see, Yeah, there's nothing really else across the board here to report. I was just kind of scanning one more time just to see if there's any other articles or anything I could really come up with or talk about. Lots of Brewers CC Sabathia pictures on Twitter. I kind of love that. I'm not gonna lie. If you've got a comment or a memory about CC Sabathia, you can leave it below or hit me in the DMs. Love to hear your stories. Anything you guys got. That's what this podcast is about. We're about talking baseball and talking Brewers. I love coming here every night during baseball season and just getting my thoughts out and complaining when I need to complain. Talking positively if there's positive to talk about. I missed it last year. I really did. I missed doing this whole thing. But I also got to enjoy more baseball as a whole. So, and knowing that it was Bob Uecker's last season, I wish I would have listened to a few more radio broadcasts, albeit he wasn't there as much. It was still fun to hear his voice. And I think anytime someone passes, you wish you could get more of the time. We could always, we're bargaining for that time that we lost with that person that we lost. And I think there's going to be a lot of baseball fans that are going to tune in Milwaukee, Wisconsin this year and, just miss that particular voice and that thing. It's It's undescribable. It really is. It's a piece of the pie. It's a piece of the puzzle. As they said, he was the heart and soul of the team. And it's a sad part of the game. Like, I can't go on Twitter. I can't look at anything without seeing Bob Uecker stuff, and that, in and of itself just makes me sad. It's sad to know that he's not there and he's not going to be the voice of our baseball games anymore. And we'll have new voices and stuff like that. I don't not see that happening, but you know what I mean? Like, it's still very, very sad at the end of the day. So, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all I got tonight. I don't see any other news across the board or anything outside of the Hall of Fame, which, hey, add another Hall of Famer to the Brewers. That's what we're doing here. It's adding another Hall of Famer to the Brewers. CC was there for this much time in comparison to a lot of other players. But it's still a big deal. It's still important, guys. So you guys have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your day, depending on when you're listening or watching this. Thank you, as always. And this is the Miller Park Minute, where we throw strikes and get likes. Have a great night, guys, or day.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers.